Well, good evening. My name is Brittany Francis, and I'm so excited that you have joined the Top Tier Testimony Tuesday tonight. If you are new and you are invited just because you desperately need hope, I truly believe this is the call that's going to give you everything that you are hoping for and praying for. What we have our hands on is very, very special. And so if the person that invited you to this said, just please jump on, just listen, then I would just tell you, please do. 18 months ago, my husband and I were introduced to this technology. We were looking for a business. We didn't realize that after using this technology, my grandmother's memory would come back. We didn't know that my husband would no longer be bleeding internally after just a few short weeks. We did not know that my thyroid condition would be taken care of. There were so many pieces in our life that we had no idea would happen. And so it very quickly became an understanding that this technology is more about testimonies. It's more about what hope we can transfer to people, how God can use us in a powerful way to transfer hope to people. So with that, welcome. And this technology is actually in the world of stem cells. Okay, so we're going to go into a little bit of a deeper dive about stem cells. But what I want you to understand is that stem cells are undifferentiated, which means your body is going to fix itself differently than the person next to you or the person that invited you to this call. All of us are different. Okay, so because of that, I just want you to lean into understanding that. I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, right away, this is going to be taken care of when your body might fix something else, and your story is going to be a little bit different as your body fixes different things along the way. So, do understand that every single person's testimony is different. Now, with that, I want to open up with an incredible testimony tonight of a beautiful woman that I met, and I just love talking to her. The way that she loves people is just incredible. And she truly is just sunlight everywhere she goes. And I got to meet her in person and hear a little bit of her testimony. But this is just so special. And I wanted to open up with this because this is our why for Tuesdays. Our why is to transfer hope for you and your loved ones. So, with that, Antoinette, I would love for you to open up. I'm going to spotlight you for everyone, and I would love for you to share your testimony and what we're looking at here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Brittany, for letting me just share. Yes, of course. This is our why, right? This is my dad. Unfortunately, I did not get a picture of him when he first started patching. Early June-ish, we started patching him with X39. He's had several health problems, and we started patching so he can start gaining, hopefully, some mobility back. Um, and he started getting these sores and things all over his head, the skin condition. And so I started having him patch, and I took a picture on July 16th. I'm like, Dad, goodness, you're looking so much better. And then I saw him on June 24th, sorry. And then on July 16th, I took some pictures, and you can see that his hair is growing back like dark. And he has a whole lot of hair now compared to June 24th. And all of his skin conditions are starting to heal up, and it's just so amazing. My mom is using it. She had a frozen shoulder. Her frozen shoulder is getting better. She's got movement now. She's sleeping good, feeling great. Her energy levels are amazing. And she started exercising again. So praise God. Like, this is truly so amazing. And I'm just so grateful that I have come across this technology. Um, so, to share with you guys a little bit about my story, um, before I started patching on March 29th, I had been praying for healing. I had many issues that I was experiencing. I had autoimmune issues, I had body aches, stiffness, inflammation, headaches, especially in my back and my neck. I had severe allergies and asthma that I was dealing with most days. I had hormone issues. I'm premenopausal, terrible hot flashes, terrible menses. I'll spare the details. And then for over 10 years, I have not been able to exercise. My heart rate would increase to scary levels. And I would get pain in my arm and my chest, and I would get really fatigued. And so I just wouldn't really exercise. I would do very minimal walking. So, my health in general was suffering. And then I was also dealing with anxiety. So since patching, I've experienced life-changing healing in my body. I feel like I'm living again. I'm not just getting through the day. Most days I would hide that I felt bad. And some days I couldn't hide it. But I'm no longer having the severe allergies. I still have some. My asthma is almost completely gone. I've had two very mild asthma attacks since patching in March, and they were like I didn't even need medicine for them. My hormone issues are improving, menses are improving, hot flashes are getting better. My autoimmune stuff, inflammation has gone down. My body aches, pain, stiffness, it's all gone. I woke up one morning about 2 or 3 weeks after starting X39, and I just got straight out of bed. This is like a miracle for me because I usually rolled out of bed and I would have to stand up slowly to adjust myself to a standing position, or if I was getting in and out of the car, I had to do it very slowly, or even just getting up from the couch. It was always painful, and all of that has gone away. I had a hip injury when I was in high school, and that is improving a ton. I'm actually able to lay on that hip now. I hadn't been able to since I injured that hip. I have more flexibility. My anxiety is completely gone. Praise God, because I thought I was dying every time I had an anxiety check. I'm sleeping better. I'm feeling more rested. My energy is great. But most importantly, I'm able to exercise again. My heart rate has improved. I'm no longer getting these terrible pains in my chest and in my arms where I felt like I was having a heart attack. And I did go to a cardiologist just to check that out, and I'm good. So there was something else going on in the body that we couldn't figure out. And so, just one more story. Last Saturday, my son is now coaching Yaffle football. And so I went to go see his boys play. And normally in heat, hot days, I have to be, sitting and not moving around very much, and I had my water. I didn't have a chair. I forgot my umbrella. Like it was all a bad situation for me. And I felt so good in the heat. I was walking up and down the field, cheering the team on. I was just like, I texted my husband and I said, honey, I'm feeling the best I've ever felt in my whole life. And I was just so happy because I feel like I've gotten my life back, guys. This has truly been a miracle for me. I'm sorry I didn't want to cry. I'm a crier all the time. And I'm just so thankful to God, really, for giving this gift to David Schmidt and the ability to create this technology, and for Natalie Muhleberry, who shared this technology with me. And gosh, I just can't wait to see what else happens in my body. But most importantly, I can't wait to witness what happens in other people's bodies. It's truly a miracle. And these patches aren't healing us, and the patches are helping our bodies to activate the healing within us. And I'm just so grateful. So thanks, Brittany.
Absolutely. That is our why. There, I mean, really? There you go. So, if you are a guest, welcome to what we truly believe to be the most prolific regenerative technology of our lifetime. If that didn't give you hope, the next few testimonies will give you hope. Let me tell you, I'm like, So let's talk about stem cells because this technology, like I said, it activates your stem cells. So let's talk about what stem cells are. Why do we want them activated? Well, stem cells are the master building block of your entire body. And I love Antoinette's whole testimony because what she's talking about is how her body began to slowly and gradually begin to fix the things that needed to be fixed. See, stem cells, it's their job to naturally repair and naturally renew whatever is wrong in the body. So what they do is they go through the body and they look for whatever is wrong. They're like heat-seeking missiles. And when you have enough to focus on one area, guess what ends up happening? Your body ends up fixing that area. Okay. So it's really incredible to see what stem cells do. They take care of inflammation. They are regenerative. They help you reverse in age. We'll cover that in a minute. They're antimicrobial. So they fight viruses. They energize you. They help you be the way that you were created to be and live the way that you were created to live life at its fullest. So, what you're looking at is the ability of stem cells to turn into whatever's necessary. So, if you burn your hand on your stove and it's all the way through to the nerves, if you have awake and alert stem cells, they have the ability to turn into the nerve cells or the muscle cells. Whatever it is, those stem cells will begin to fix. So, that is what ends up happening. Now, why do we want this technology? Why wake up our stem cells? By the time we're 30, half of our stem cells go dormant. They go to sleep. And by the time we're 60, 90% of them go to sleep. And the fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age, the slower you heal. So I love how Antoinette really broke this down about what all these different things were happening, her hormones, ADHD, depression, all these things, whatever it is, the body begins to fix the things that were naturally went backwards in in time. Okay. So David Schmidt is the founder and the CEO. Okay. I want to bring validity to this because when you hear these next few testimonies, you are going to be mind blown. I can tell you. And so I want to bring validity because what you need to know is that David Schmidt is the founder and the CEO, and he has over 200 patents. Okay. He's a scientist, he's the inventor, very rare to find that. Okay. And the owner. Okay. And he specializes in age reversal. Now, over 20 years ago, he was contracted by the government to come up with something that the Navy SEALs could use that would keep them awake for 24 to 36 hours straight, ready for combat. So he began to look at light therapy because they said, look, it cannot be anything that is put in the body. Okay. So he went, okay. So he began to look at chemical reactions that the body would have in response to light. Okay. So he found that there were many other scientists that did this well before him. So he really began to lean in, and he also found that the body actually emits light called biophotons. The dogs do, horses do, we do, living beings all emit light. Okay. So as he leaned in and he knew that there was chemical reactions to light that the body, good chemical reactions that the body would have, he really began to see and study, and he was like, okay, DNA responds very well with light frequency. So much to the point that there'd be chemical reactions. So just like the sun would come down on a body and the body would produce vitamin D, he looked at this and he said, okay, if there's light therapy, we can maybe wake up stem cells. So, or I'm sorry, we can maybe wake up energy. And so he began to really look at this. And what he found was this was over 20 years ago, mind you, that we actually emit nothing weird about this, nothing woo woo, off of our body between 1 to 2 centimeters of light frequencies, different colors of light frequencies. Okay. And he found that there was a specific red light that, when reflected back into the body, okay, so the body emits a light, he reflected it back with a specific patch that he invented, a two-patch system. When he reflected that frequency of light, the body produces adrenaline. So the Navy SEALs began to use this. Yes, it worked. Stanford University got wind of this. They began to use this on their swimmers because there's no drugs, there's nothing. It was just light therapy. Michael Phelps began to use it, and then the list went on and on and on. And David knew he was on to something very, very big. Now, because he found this, the government tried to contract him, and he said, "You know what? No, this is so big. I'm going home and I'm going to tear up the contracts. I want to do more." And so he began to study more light frequencies that we emit, and he found that there were many different light frequencies. And he went to town for a specific thing. He was on a mission, ladies and gentlemen. He was on a mission to wake up stem cells. He found a specific frequency of light that, when reflected back into the body would elevate in response, a GHKCU peptide. And that GHKCU peptide, when elevated, stem cells wake up. He did it. So this is why you're here. This is why you already heard one incredible testimony from Antoinette, is because these stem cells, when they wake up, they begin to go to work. Okay, so the GHKCU peptide is an incredible peptide. Okay, it was discovered in 1973. It's an incredible peptide. And people were like, well, what if we could topically put it on? What if we could synthetically put it in the body? Well, what if our body produces it? And that's what ended up happening. He began to look at this and he said, okay, after 10 years, $4.5 million, we have found it. So you're about to hear testimonies that are very true, very real. They're very proven. Okay. The patent shows that it works. So I need you to understand that Testimony Tuesdays, I'm not going to talk you into anything. The patent, you cannot patent placebo. Okay. The patent is real. It's there in PubMed. There are many, many studies on GHKCU peptides. So what he needed to prove was that the GHKCU is elevated. Now, after many other clinical studies, he found that actually after 3 years of research, that the body actually, if you use this technology longer than 6 months, that at the mitochondrial level, your body is beginning to fix itself, which means your telomeres are lengthened, so your body actually reverses in age. So again, this is very prolific. It is what it is. It is mind blowing. Okay. So you can see my husband and myself, I looked at this a few months back and I went, oh my gosh, we have our testimony. Other than my husband not bleeding internally, I wanted to reverse an age and it's worked. And so, and he's very excited because people don't think he's my dad anymore. So he's really happy about that. So it is simple science. It's a proprietary form of phototherapy. Okay. It reflects a frequency of light back into the body. Okay. The technology is very, very simple. Okay. It has mirrors inside it with which are amino salt sugars and crystals that are grinded down. This is what it looks like. Okay. The inside it, there are amino salt sugars crystals that are grinded down in a specific mirror image that catches that specific light frequency. Okay. It's not putting any drug, it's not putting any chemical in your body. Okay. So completely non-invasive. Within the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. Okay, naturally. Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. So PTSD, anxiety, depression. Within 3 months, the collagen is increased. So you're going to hear all these things in the testimonies, but I want you to know that this is all clinically proven, scientifically proven. And within 6 months, the cardiovascular age of the heart reverses. So again, it's incredibly brilliant. It's an incredible technology. And with it, testimonies begin to happen. And so I'm so excited to begin to open this up. I have several testimonies that had already texted in, and then I would love for more testimonies to come because that's why we do this tonight. And so, Abel, I would love it if you could unmute yourself so I can find you and I can actually spotlight you.
How's it going, Miss Brittany?
I love
Uh,
it.
hi, everyone. My name is Abel Salazar, and I got introduced to this probably about in May from Mr. Greg Brown, and I my biggest thing was I wasn't sleeping, and I was told, well, by Brittany's husband when I kind of got on one of the calls that he even had a CPAP. And so Greg Brown was like, okay, well, he's like, just do me a solid and try it. So I wish I found other people like me, but I believed him and I joined that day and I got 6 months supply. And the first day I was able to sleep for a full 8 hours without having to go pee in the middle of the night. And I was ecstatic. Actually, since then, I've lost probably about 40 pounds outside of the stem cells. I've been doing a lot of fasting. But my main thing is I've been sleeping for about 8 hours a day without having to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I certainly have a lot more energy, a lot more energetic, a lot more clarity, no more brain fog. So as a result of that, my body just seems to kind of be working more and more in strides. So again, you cannot patent placebo. and all these little isms that I learned from Brittany and Greg. And so I'm just very blessed to have this technology. My 73-year-old mom is on this. Her 77-year-old sister, and they both had ailments, and they are both experiencing a lot of benefits. So I'm just very blessed and fortunate to have this technology and have Greg to reach out to me and Brittany and just this constant support, going on with X39.
I
So
love it. I love it. And there will be so many testimonies that you share about your family. And that's what's so exciting. That's why we do this. I love it, Abel. You're giving a lot of men hope.
yes, ma'am. No CPAP. So for all those guys that have wives and stuff, I'm maybe I can find a girlfriend now, but I certainly don't have to worry about snoring. So I'm extremely excited about that.
Hey, that was Rick's miracle number one. So that tells you I was God's favorite. He stopped snoring after 3 days. So,
Yes, yes. Thank you.
all right, dear. All right, Shalonda, I would love for you to unmute, and I'm so excited to hear your testimony.
I'm Shalonda Byers. I got introduced to the X39 from Greg Brown. It's been great for me. Before I got on it and before he introduced it to me, I had to start taking estrogen patches due to the fact of, like you all ladies know, menopause and hysterectomy and all that. And I've only been on, this is my second month on it, and I have not worn my estrogen patch in 3 weeks. Um, so basically, I went from spending money on estrogen patches to spending money on the X39. I'm just like the other guy. I sleep well now. I'm pretty well rested, and I'm a very busy mom of two very good athletes. So we're always on the go. Also, I have very bad knees from playing sports, so I use I think I'm going to say it right, the Aeon. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I use those at night on the bottom of my feet. Greg suggested that, and the inflammation in my body is like not completely gone, but I can make it through the day without being in so much pain. Um, but the main thing for me right now is just trying to stay consistent and remember to put the patches on at the times that I've been doing it. But other than that, it's been very, very great. Like he said, I don't have too many brain farts lately. On top of my game pretty well as a 50-year-old single parent, so I can't complain. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much. I just love that. I mean, and I will say this before we bring you on, Reagan, is you guys want to understand that if you guys are new, you want to wear it at minimum. We say 1 month per decade that we're alive. There is a testimony that will be on either tomorrow night or next week, and you're going to find that you don't want to stop. Wear it, at least a year. Give your time, give your body the time that it deserves because you're going to be shocked with what all that happens. So, Shalana, I'm so excited. Keep wearing those patches, and I love it. I love it. I love it, ma'am. All right, Reagan, I have been on the edge of my seat all week long, from last week to today. So I cannot wait. There he is. I cannot wait for this one.
Well, I hope I don't disappoint, that's for sure. Hi everyone. My name is Reagan Florence, and I got introduced to the patch by my niece Claudette, which probably quite a few of y'all know. And so I was skeptical and decided that, but Claudette was so adamant that this was something that I needed to try. And so I said, well, I'm going to let my son try it, who's living with us right now. He's the boomerang child out of four. And so he's back at the house. He's doing good though, getting a job, going to college. And so he's had issues before, anxiety, depression. And so I said, you know what, I'll buy a sleeve or I'll buy into the business and I'm going to let him try it. So he did. And after I'd say about 7 days to 14 days, his demeanor changed, his energy changed, He started working out. He was a lot less anxious, and his attitude was so much better. He had more zeal for life, and just one thing after another, and just kept watching this transformation in my son. And that's when I said, that's it. I got to try this out. And so we bought in and bought in for him and bought in for us. And so glad that we did, because the transformation has been phenomenal. I'm 67 years old. April the 10th, I had a triple bypass surgery in San Antonio. And it was a struggle for a while, but everything's going much better now. I was way off the charts on my sugar, and took lab tests from my regular doctor after I got, had the surgery, and did saw my cardiologist, saw my surgeon, and my sugar was over 400. My A1C was over 10 and a half. So I knew what was coming because I'd done this once before, and insulin was coming. And so my doctor prescribed insulin at night before I went to bed. And anybody that knows me knows my background. I am not a needle person at all. It doesn't matter how small it is or how big it is. When I was a kid, I used to faint, and so yeah, it's gotten better. So I had to start doing these insulin shots, and my wife probably has some video where I just kind of lean into the needle, even though it's small and it didn't hurt, but just getting it through my head. So at the same time that I started insulin is when I started the patch, and so 2 weeks in, my sugar went from over 400, and I just took it a minute ago, and it's in the 90s. It was 92. It got down to 60. And so it's been staying at 100 to 110, and it's just been leveled out. I quit taking insulin after 2 weeks, and got on the LifeWave button because I couldn't stand my wife pricking my fingers anymore and trying to dig a well to my bloodstream through my fingers. So that was a blessing in itself, getting on the sensors and just doing that with my phone. So my thyroid I've taken thyroid. I had a hyperthyroid, and then took the radioactive iodine when I was in college, and went hypo. So I've taken Levoxetor or Synthroid since I was in college. So that was quite a few years ago, and been on it ever since. My thyroid level now is probably going to be one where they're going to have to bring my medication down. The energy, the sleep, again, as Abel said a minute ago, not being able to have to get up because of the sugar levels were so high, and being able to sleep a good sleep and not have to get up and go to the bathroom. So and it works on my pets. I've got two Australian Aussie Shepherds, and when I get done here in about 10 minutes, one of the patches is going to go on each one of those beautiful dogs that I have. So I hope that you take something that I've given you something that works for me. I was skeptical, and I hope this did okay, Brittany, because I don't know if this came off well or not, but it's the truth, and it comes from my heart.
It was amazing, Reagan. And I knew that it was going to be incredible. So, Reagan, thank you so much for sharing with everybody. I just want everybody to have hope. And, guys, this is it. I mean, I remember meeting Reagan, and it was so funny because, I mean, just what a dynamic personality. He and his wife are just beautiful. And I remember him looking at me going, and so I did use an ice wave. I will tell you this, Reagan. I'm going to spotlight you one more time. I would like to touch base on this because again, this is like a family night. Can you tell them real quickly about ice wave and what had happened with your heart, with your chest?
Yeah, the incision, because I kind of skipped over a little bit of what happened in the chronological order of events, but I still hadn't gotten into the ice wave other than listening to what my son was experiencing. And so went and saw met with you and Rick and up in LaGrange, I believe it was, and was listening to everything. And uh, you were asking me about, my story and what I went through on the open heart surgery. And I was still having some pain on the incision site. And so you asked if you could put a ice wave on me. And it was a matter of, I don't know, 5 to 7 seconds. I immediately felt relief from that incision site. And that was something that had been bothering me for, about a week or two. And it just felt so good when you, after about 5 to 7 seconds, I mean, I didn't have that pain anymore. But yeah, that night is when, after listening and talking with you and Rick, that night is when we came back home and to the house. Claudette was with us, and we didn't even go to bed. We signed up that night, and we didn't get home till, golly, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and couldn't go to sleep. Had to sign up. Had to take advantage of this opportunity. Really did. And y'all, and the next time that we saw y'all, we got to meet Danny and Diane. So not only is this a great product, it's just the people that are it's affecting, and the people that you meet are just absolutely outstanding. Great character.
Well, thank you. I'm just so excited because see that, Reagan, so that's so important because I do want you all to know. So the X39, that's your mama bear patch. Okay. That is everything. But if right now you're sitting here and you were invited to this or you were sent this Zoom because there's somebody that just spoke that you're like, oh my gosh, this, I need to send this to them. The Ice Wave actually is a two patch system that actually blocks pain receptors with light frequency. And so that is super important to understand that you can package it correctly with the person that invited you to this call and at least block the pain while the X39 is doing what it does with your body. And then you're not going to need the ice wave, right? But at least block that discomfort. So thank you so much, Reagan. That was incredible. And I just received a message. We're going to take three more. So I'd love if somebody can raise their hand. But Megan, if you could share with us what you've seen today, that would be wonderful.
Well, hello, everyone. Well, Brittany, um, I went to Fredericksburg on Saturday to a baby shower, and I stopped into a Goodwill and saw this couch that just really was a great buy, and I really could use it. So I was in my car, no way I could buy this couch. So I left and found, a friend of mine. Anyway, I was able to pay for it and then rented a truck today. And my friend, who is a young man, came with me, and we drove to Fredericksburg, which is about 100 miles, and in this U-Haul truck, and got to the place, and he and this other man put it in the truck. But then I was going to put it in my storage building. And so we drove back to Georgetown, Texas, and got to my storage building, and we discussed how we were going to get it out of the truck because it was just this young man and I. And I said, Quinn, I will help you. He goes, oh, no, you can't do this. And I said, yeah, I will do it. So we discussed it. He got into the truck. He picked it up from the back end. I had the front end. I'm on this sidewalk. And I moved back as he brought it out of the truck. He jumped down, he carried, and he said, oh my God, I mean, because I held it up as he was moving it out of the truck. And then we carried it into the storage building. So, guys, this young man said to me, I just patched him for the first time today, by the way. But he said to me, this is going to be my testimony.
I love it. And 75 years young, right, Miss Megan?
Exactly. That's what he said. My mother, who was in her 50s, couldn't have done this. My aunt, who's in her 40s, couldn't have done this. And guys, I've been using X39 for on and off for about 4 years, but very consistently since December. But I have added X49 for the last, let's say, 3 months. And, again, it's never too early or too late to anyone that's listening in tonight to start and continue on because it is going to, like you've said, and David Schmidt says, age reversal.
I
So I
love
just have that. Yes.
Thank you so much, Megan. No surprise, no surprise. All right. Next we have, oh, I'm excited for this. Oh, y'all lean in. Miss Ginger, please share.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, a lot of these testimonies resonate with me. The hormone issue, I will tell you, I had a hysterectomy. I'm 45, never had hormones. 2 years ago, I started having major hot flashes and night sweats. When I started using patch, it took me about 6 months to see a shift in my hormones, but I don't remember the last time I've had a night flash or a sweat at all. So that has been a big thing for me. The other thing I want to highlight today is that my husband injured his shoulder years ago. He was using red light therapy, just like a mobile one, for on his shoulder for years. He and my 14-year-old daughter go to Alaska every year to buy or to fish salmon and bring it back for us to eat for the whole year. And they fish for about 8 hours a day for 10 days straight. So his shoulder is really, really sore. He has to get a cortisone shot in it before he goes. Well, we've been on the patches for almost a year now, and he didn't have to have a cortisone shot. He came back and he said, I can't believe how well my body held up the whole trip. He's like, I was not hurting at all. My 14-year-old daughter is the wild child of the family and has broken 5 bones. After you break a bone, it's never the same. And she's so active. So she always has to wrap her ankle and her wrist because working it was painful. This was the first year that they went to Alaska. They've been there for the last 4 years. First year that she went and she didn't have to wear her ankle wrap or her wrist wrap at all. And 2 weeks ago, I broke my toe because I was doing social media and my little tripod fell on my toe, broke it, snapped it. Um, I put on a patch once I realized I broke it. I put on a patch 3 or 4 days later. The color was perfectly normal. I was walking on it perfectly, no pain at all. So I love these things. These patches are amazing. I have so many more other testimonies, but those are the ones I want to highlight today.
I love it, love it, love it. Sorry, I thought this is why I love what we do because it's so incredibly special, y'all. So from increased strength, reduced inflammation, mental clarity, energy and vitality, improvement of sleep, it does not matter. Your body will fix what your body needs to fix. Enough time is needed. And it's so sophisticated, so simple to explain, and the testimonies are always absolutely incredible. So if you were invited to this testimony Tuesday and you're like, my gosh, my uncle needs this, my aunt needs this, it's going to work. It's going to work. You want to wear it. And again, they say at least 1 month per decade. Give it 6 to 12 months because what you will find is the inflammation will be completely gone. Your body will fix itself. The more and more I love what Ginger said. She's been using it for how long? Megan's been using it for how long? So allow your body to fix what your body needs to fix. You're going to use this technology. You're going to put it on 12 hours a day. You're going to take it off. You're going to put it on your dog if you love your dog, like Reagan. Okay. And you can just use medical tape and just patch it to your dog. When you put it on your body, it activates due to your heat and your light frequency. The heat and frequency breaks down that mirror. So it's good for 16 to 20 hours, but you only want to wear it for 12 hours because you want your body to rest. Okay. And you can wear it 12 hours a day and stay hydrated with electrolytes because those stem cells need to travel where they need to go and you want them to go faster. Now, I will tell you at the end of this year, there's a documentary that's being released called Let There Be Light. David Schmidt is so incredibly brilliant that, we know that every single person is going to be using this technology. We know that they will. And so what I will tell you is lean in to this. Don't miss this opportunity. don't miss it because I don't want you to block your blessing. I don't want you to block your hope. We have testimonies that go to children and all the way through people in their hundreds. It's just so incredibly brilliant. And Leon, I don't know, Leon, did you have a strong testimony? Because I feel like you did, but are you still on here? I saw your
Yes, I'm still on. Yes, I'm still
saw your
here.
face. I would like you to close us out. I'm just going to tell everybody, go to thisisatinfo.com/testimonies and know that there's doctor Zooms that you guys can have access to. But what I'd like to do a little bit differently is encourage everybody to go back to the person that invited them to this call, knowing that what they have their hands on is brilliant. Okay. And you can wear it and share it if you choose to, but you want to get started by either a core, advanced, or a premium, and they will break that down. Leon, I'd love you to just in 1 second share, but the core is 3 months worth of the X39. You can mix and match. So if you have pain, you can ice wave. Okay, the advanced is 6 months worth, or if you are wanting to share this technology, the advanced is definitely the way that you want to go. And then the premium is what my husband and I did because we have so many children. I feels like they're never ending that are just rotating through our household all the time. So we're just patching everybody. And so we just knew that we needed patches for everybody. But no matter what it is, you need this. And Leon has become a very dear friend. And I would just love to, instead of just ending on the packages, I would love to just know that you're going to get back to the person. But Leon, will you share what has happened for you?
Well, let me just say, first of all, I thank you, Brittany, and all of you all have put this particular encouraging and incredible technology into the public domain. I have been blessed since last August. I tell you, when Pat Davis first introduced me to it, I had a problem with my shoulder, my right shoulder, and within 3 days, my shoulder was okay, and I could do some push-ups again because I love to exercise. Well, rocked on there. My wife began to use the patch. She's on diabetic. She's up 400, 300 every day. She's taking 3 different kinds of medication, but when she got on this patch 3 weeks later, her sugar level dropped down to 105, 95, 125. When she gets up to 145 now, she's angry, wondering what's going on. We are really been blessed medically by this thing. And also energy wise, I'm running a mile 2 times a week now. Praise the Lord. And look, my hair is growing back on top of my head as well. But one of the main things, just like some of the other men have already said, from August to December, I stopped having to get up in the night to go in the restroom. At 74 years old, that's a big deal for me. And I don't know about you men, but I tell you, I am really loving this thing and I will be on it for the rest of my life. Thank you, Brittany.
I love it. Well, I saw your face and I said, you know what? Why wouldn't we want to close with the testimony? Guys, this is what you have your hands on, hope, hope. And so welcome to the family because I truly believe that you're going to at least say, I'm going to give this a go if you're a guest. So, everyone, I just want to say, I pray that every single one of you have an incredible evening. If you say, you know what, I want to share this with every person that I know and love, I will be hosting a presentation tomorrow night with some incredible testimonies, some of them probably from here, but some new testimonies as well. And, we just want to be a blessing to every single one of you. So, with that, may you all have an incredible evening, be filled with hope, and be filled with an excitement for the future because your life was meant and created to be lived with complete fullness. So, with that, have an incredible evening. Good night.
Good night.